Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the DCEU Daily. Whoa! Henry Cavill has lit a firework up everybody's backside. He's upset a lot of the fans from the Snyderverse because he said some interesting things. We're going to read out the article and comments from Screen Rant, and then we're going to discuss it. I actually find this really funny because in the past couple of days I've been singing Zack Snyder's kind of DCEU movies, trilogies, kind of praises. But I'm a balanced individual and I'm going to see what Henry's saying here and react, you know, in a good way. In a way that we explain both sides, Zack's side of the argument and Henry's side. And they're not having an argument. I'm sure Zack understands where Henry's coming from, but Zack had a vision that he wanted to do for the DCEU. Henry Cavill knows where he wants Superman to go after Justice League. Henry Cavill wants to see Superman in more of a positive light and as a symbol of hope in the DCEU after the events of Zack Snyder's Justice League by Richard Fink of Screen Rant. Henry Cavill has an idea of where he wants to take Superman in the DCEU following the events of Justice League. Cavill was cast as Superman in 2010 and made his big screen debut in 2013's Man of Steel. He reprised his role in 2016's Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, 2017's Justice League, and of course Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021. Since being cast as Superman, Cavill has been in a number of high-profile projects, including Mission Impossible Fallout, and isn't that title... Isn't it ironic, the title of that Mission Impossible film, considering the fallout from Cavill being in that film, couldn't shave his moustache off to come back to do Justice League? Ironic. And the Netflix series The Witcher. However, Cavill has not worn the Superman suit since 2017's Justice League, and while Cavill is still open to appearing as the character, no announcements have been made about a Man of Steel sequel or another Superman appearance. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers and DC are developing a new Superman movie from producer J.J. Abrams and writer Ta-Nehisi Coates, which will focus on a black Superman. In a recent interview with GQ, Cavill detailed exactly the direction he wants to take Superman after the events of Justice League. Cavill said he wanted to see Superman become a true symbol of hope before becoming corrupted by the anti-life equation, meaning he sees Zack Snyder's Justice League as the canon version of the story. Cavill still says he's eager to flesh the story out. Cavill said this: "I was very keen on really fleshing out Superman's early stages of his journey first. We had Man of Steel and then we went quite a bit darker with Batman vs Superman. And if he were to succumb to the anti-life equation and become bad Superman, I really wanted to make sure we saw the hero Superman and we saw the true symbol of hope, the beacon of light, before we went down that path of darkness, then redemption. And it's still something that I'm very keen to flesh out." So unfortunately, the Pie Eater members of the Snyderverse community don't really understand what he's saying here, and after I read this article, I'm going to explain it to you. Man of Steel grossed $668 million worldwide when it was released and was the 9th highest grossing film of 2013 worldwide. Yeah, the 9th isn't good enough for a Superman movie. However, the film came in under expectations for Warner Brothers, who were looking to have another Dark Knight level hit on their hands, and plans for a Man of Steel sequel were dropped in favour of Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. Discussions for Man of Steel 2 have been in various stages of development over the years, with Mission Impossible Fallout director Christopher McQuarrie even pitching a version, the studio even asking James Gunn if he would be interested in a Superman movie. I would never want James Gunn to make a Superman movie. He doesn't get the character, and we've seen he's obsessed with toxic masculinity as well. So I want him nowhere near a Superman movie. As much as I like him, he's a one-trick pony. He's best off sticking with groups of superheroes because that's what he's best at. One criticism often levelled at the DCEU version of Superman has been the darker nature of the character, one that is far removed from the optimistic version many associate with him. It appears Cavill also shares some of these frustrations and wants an opportunity to play his own version of Superman from the comics and previous films audiences remember. With Man of Steel being an origin story and jumping right into the crossover film with Batman, Cavill never quite got his own film to flesh out the character in full, and a new Superman movie could give him the chance to show off more of his talents and fight classic foes like Brainiac, Mongol or Mr. Mixer-Pixlick. Right, let's go into this, because people I think have misunderstood what Henry's saying here. So Henry's actually supportive of the direction it went in. He's saying, yeah, Batman versus Superman went down a dark path. Now we know Cavill prefers Man of Steel to BVS. We already know that. Then he said we went to Justice League and then we were going to do the anti-life equation. What Cavill's actually suggesting is not to do that, but to display the character, the pure-hearted character, you know, the pure symbol, the character that Superman's always been in the comics and in other films and in other media. Then send him down that dark, evil Superman path and the anti-life equation. So where does Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill actually differ on this? Well, I'll explain to you. Zack Snyder believes that Superman, Cal and Clark have to earn, basically Cal and Clark has to earn the right to become Superman via Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Justice League 2, and in Justice League 3 he leads the metahuman army out, and that's when he's earned the right to become Superman. Now I really like that idea, but I don't hate what Cavill's saying. In fact, what Cavill's saying is not do this, but we should have structured him as the iconic Superman first. Now, I can see where he's coming. You structure him as the pure-hearted Superman from the comics, the version everyone wanted to see in the first place, then you send him down this darker journey, then he comes through it again, and he's that character where Zack Snyder's saying, no, we can't do that. We can't just have him being the smiley, pure symbol of hope Superman. He has to earn it. He has to learn to become that. He's already a pure character, fair enough, Snyder's saying, but he has to earn the right. I don't believe anyone's right or wrong, and I'm quite certain Zack's not really the problem here. What I mean is, the way Zack wanted to do it isn't a problem here. But I don't think what Henry's saying is the problem either. I think all Cavill's suggesting is we should have given Superman more of a characterization of who he's always been before we send him down this dark path, where Snyder is saying, no, that's the whole point. He has to go through all this shit so then he can, you know, he can earn the right to be the Superman that the character's always been in media. And I understand both of these. So I suppose you could say, I understand what you're saying, Henry, but the problem is, if he's at the beginning already this symbol of hope, there's not really a journey. But I understand what he's saying, because if you do make him this symbol of hope from the very beginning, then you send him down this dark tunnel and he comes out again, at least I think people would have understood it more. So Henry's kind of smart and clever, thinking this. Not that Zack isn't smart and clever. What I'm saying is, if you display Superman as this bright symbol of hope from the very beginning, then send him down this dark path, people have seen him. They know your intentions and they actually understand what you're doing with him. But if you start him off a bit gritty and, you know, aggressive, without showing us that element, that symbol of hope. Now, I don't necessarily think he wasn't a symbol of hope in Man of Steel, but what Henry's talking about is what we saw from the Dick Donner movie, what we see in the comics, what we saw in Superman Returns, you know, even the New Adventures of Superman with Dean Cain, that kind of thing. So, can we still make Superman movies where the character's smiley and he's a symbol of hope? Of course we can, if he's done properly. But can we still tell dark stories for that Superman? Of course we can. There's no question about that. So as I say, there's no right or no wrong here. I'm surprised you're all so angry about this. Cavill's got a point. I get what Cavill's saying. Cavill's not saying to disperse with what Snyder wanted to do. I'm confident Zack hasn't got an issue here. He wouldn't agree with what Henry's saying because, as I've explained, Henry's already, explained that he wanted kind of the bright, kind of iconic symbol of hope, then send him on this dark path, where Zack's saying, no, that's my point. He can't become that until he's earned it. So I like what Zack was doing. The problem is, with the way Zack wanted to do it, there was a misunderstanding that Zack saw Superman as this dark, gritty, aggressive character, and that's not the truth. What he's giving us is a raw, underdeveloped kind of character who hasn't gone through his journey yet. How can he be the Superman we know and love if he hasn't been through his journey yet? That's what Snyder's saying, and I agree with that. Now, Cavill's saying, no, if you display the pure symbol of hope at the beginning, then send him down this dark path, at least, as I say, at least people can see that you actually believe that Superman should be this symbol of hope. And I'm sure that Snyder does, to a point, but we saw what people's reactions are. So I think Cavill's way would have been the smarter way, because, as I say, if you got him there as this bright symbol of hope from the very beginning, the audience knows. They've seen you do it. They're not going to throw shit at you when you send him down this dark journey, because he starts off there as a symbol of hope, but then he goes down this dark journey and comes out at the other side. It makes sense. So, as I say, neither of these opinions about kind of where Zack wanted to go with all the 5 movies and where Henry saw it, I don't think there's an issue with either of these. And I'm surprised that people are really attacking Henry over this, and it proves something, that people are reading the headlines without actually reading what Henry had to say. Because if you read, look, we can read it again if you're hard of hearing or can't read. Where are we? Here we are. I was very keen on really fleshing out Superman's early stages for his journey first. We had Man of Steel, then we went quite a bit darker with Batman versus Superman. And if he were to succumb to the anti-life equation and become bad Superman, I really wanted to make sure we saw the hero Superman and we saw the true symbol of hope, the beacon of light before he went down that path of darkness and then redemption. It's still something that I'm very keen to flesh out. You see, this is the problem that Cavill's had all along. This is why he's had issues with Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers have had issues with him. But let me explain something to you. I agree with what Henry's saying here, but the thing is, the difficult thing is, I agree with the Snyder plan as well. I am not sitting on the fence. You should know me. I've been here since 2018. You know I don't sit on the fucking fence. I wouldn't kiss Henry Cavill's butt if I think he said something wrong. Now, during the marketing of Justice League, he did say something very controversial. He said even if there was no Marvel Cinematic Universe, we would have struggled with the way we were doing things. So it's clear he doesn't agree. Listen, one thing we can say, Henry Cavill doesn't agree with what Snyder did with BVS. He likes Man of Steel. It's clear he likes Man of Steel. And I think in the sequel, and he wanted his own sequel to kind of show the kind of pure-hearted Superman and symbol of hope that Superman was, then go down there. I think this is what he's suggesting. Clearly, he's not a fan of jumping into Batman versus Superman so early. And this is not, this is not kind of the only person to say it. Cavill is just a high-profile person to say it. The person who actually played Superman. Surely he has a right to have his very own opinion. Well, I think he has. I think he's got every right to have his own opinion. And so I agree with Henry, but I like what Zack wanted to do as well. But he does make a good point. And I think if you do Man of Steel, then because I'm not going to lie, I love BVS. But when I was watching it, I think this is a weird leap from Man of Steel to BVS. Because in Man of Steel, it is a gritty, darker Superman movie, but there's still some levity there. And in the end, that levity between Lois and Clark, welcome to the planet. And he smiles. See, that kind of hints to a brighter movie next time. But then we go even darker. And it's interesting. It's like there's something missing in the middle. Do you understand? It's like there should have been that second Man of Steel movie, that Man of Steel sequel, before BVS. So I think Henry's got a point. So even though I love BVS, it kind of jumps from one extreme to the other, and I never got that. So even though I love BVS as a movie, in terms of the next movie in a franchise, Maybe it should have been the third movie in the franchise. Maybe Man of Steel 2 should have came and then BVS. Obviously, they could have done other character movies in between them. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think you can tell with BVS there should have been a Man of Steel 2 there. So I think Henry has, interestingly, he's talking like a producer who's trying to plot everything together. And I think what Henry's actually saying makes absolute sense, where Zack Snyder's just saying, no, we're not doing any of that. We're just going to send him down this dark, horrible journey, and then he proves he's Superman down the other side. It's an interesting take. I like Snyder's take. It's interesting, but you haven't ever shown the audience that you believe that Superman should be a symbol of hope. You know, you can say it on Vero, you can say it when you're being interviewed, but you haven't shown it on your actual film. And that was the problem. And that's why people lost their shit with Snyder. Now, those intelligent audiences and consumers like us, right, we got what Snyder was trying to do. But unfortunately, Snyder's always having to fill in the blanks. And when you have to fill in the blanks, you've got a big problem. If your audience don't get where you're coming from, you have a big problem. And this was the problem. Snyder was continuing all the time to go over on Vero and explain things. You shouldn't need to explain your movie. Now, I love Zack Snyder, and I have to keep on repeating that because people just don't get it. I am constructively criticising Zack, and I think that Henry's actually got a very, very good point now. Now, Henry, up to now, and the Hollywood Reporter article last week or the week before, hasn't spoken about Superman for years, and actually this was a big bugbear of mine. So what's going on? Why is he around talking so much? Well, he's promoting the brand new season coming up in December, I think, of The Witcher. It's the second season of The Witcher. They keep on asking him about Superman, but the difference is now he's answering the questions. Before, him and his people, his representatives, saying he cannot speak about Superman. Well, now he's speaking about Superman as he was after Mission Impossible Fallout and after the fallout of Justice League, explaining that he and the director pitched a movie and Warner Brothers rejected it. So it looks like either he's talking to Warner Brothers again and he's trying to gain support from the audience. Now, obviously, he's kind of losing some members of the Snyderverse, but all I can say in the final part of today's DCEU Daily, he's not giving Zack shade. What he is saying, I know in the past he said he didn't want to think about release the Snyder Cut, he wanted to look forward. Listen, this is an actor who wanted to play Superman again. He didn't want to go against the studio. He was just being tactical. And let's be honest, you know, well, people say, oh, all the other actors came out. What you mean, years and years after we came out? Now, I know Jason Momoa said was quite supportive during the release of the Snyder Cut, kind of, the battle to release the Snyder Cut. I have lots of respect for Jason, and even Ray Fisher was trying his best in a kind of muted way in the early days. It was only when the movie was greenlit that he came out saying his piece. But it was really Jason Momoa. I mean, Ben Affleck only started talking when everyone was talking about it. Gal Gadot's only just started talking about the problems within the Justice League reshoots recently. So it's okay to say, well, Henry Cavill didn't support this. Look, Henry Cavill's going to support himself. He's going to support his career. I think that's understandable, and I think you and me would do the same thing. So before you attack an actor, actually read what he's got to say. All he's stating is his opinion. And by the way, it's a very intelligent opinion, because if we got Man of Steel 2 before BVS, then I don't think we would have had these issues. But I'll go one further than that. If they painted Superman as a bit more of a symbol of hope, you know, in Man of Steel, then I think more of the fans would have been on side with this version of Superman. It would have made a lot more money, and Zack would still be working on the DC Extended Universe. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection, and I'll see you again tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Till then, goodbye.